What's up, friends? It's Monday. Keep watching this video because I'm about to do a really cool stock review just for you. Let's dive in. Hey traders from around the world, what's going on? It's your boy Jeremy Alexander Newsome with reallifetrading.com. And today we are checking out the overall markets. Chat about it, do some reviews, and look at some stocks that you beautiful people requested. First and foremost, the SPY, not really doing that much at all. Inside day candle, and it's days like this where I either lose or I win very small, and today it was a very small win day. We'll talk about what I traded in just a moment and what I missed as well. Had a few good misses today, but not many, actually. It was pretty nice. Realistically, we made new all-time highs on the S&P, and we're just resting. We're chilling out. We're letting some of these moving averages catch up. The trend will continue higher at some point after a little bit of a dip. Don't know how big the dip is going to be. I would personally love it if we came down into here a little bit and bounced. That would just be too easy. But more than likely, with today being an inside candle, we'll hang out 2 or 3 days and then just ultimately continue higher into earnings season, which is right around the corner. Big news on the day was Apple. AAPL down nicely, and this was a wonderful gap and go today. A bunch of people trapped on Apple. You got a gap below this candle, this candle, this candle, and this candle. So 4 days of people trapped on Apple. And my buddy Scott McKay used today's selling as a day to sell some puts on Apple. So he sold some 190 puts expiring in August, which is over earnings. And that means that he does not mind owning some shares of Apple at that particular price. So realistically, what we're dealing with right now is, again, just a great gap and go. And pretty much on any time frame, you had the opportunity to smash and grab a little bit of a gain on Apple. I'm working with a trader from the West Coast, David. Flew all the way into Nashville to work with me over the next 4 to 5 days and just perfect and hone in his trading craft. Played Apple today. He went bullish. He missed the bearish move, but here was the breakdown of the 5-minute candle. He went bullish around here and also around here for a little bit of a cute gain on Apple. That was a really good buying opportunity. But again, any time frame you're going to zoom into this on, was a great early morning short because of the gap and go. Here's a 3-minute chart. Here's the 2-minute chart, right? Any time frame you're looking at, beautiful high wave candles early in the morning to give you the opportunity to look for the short trade because of the gap, phenomenal rollover, and the nice double bottom. Look at this double bottom on a 1-minute chart. A one-legged blind moose could have taken that trade bullish on Apple after the quick sell-off this morning, because again, it is Apple, and it's not like it's just going to free fall 10% in one day, unless it's over earnings. But this was a nice little gap on Apple for sure. Another one that a few people played, my buddy Thomas Wong played this one for a small little gain on NVIDIA. So NVDA had the gap down below the low of yesterday. Here is the first 3-minute candle. And again, the first 3-minute candle, you got that gnarly high wave candle on NVIDIA. So 3-minute candle broke down, broke some support. Here's the support level. Here's the stop loss. And just a really quick boom, boom, boom type of play. Came in, had a nice retest, rolled over again, and then just kind of chopped around most of the day. Didn't really do all that much, but we did have a few traders make some money on NVIDIA. The trade I'm a little sad about is ticker symbol BK. BK was a disastrously perfect gap on the daily chart. This is one that we did trade this morning, and we made it official. Sarah Quick, congratulations, because Sarah made some good gainages on BK. My buddy Albert Chen also snagged some nice moves on BK. Let me show you this trade analysis that we did this morning, because this was just what dreams are made out of. Talk about a perfect setup that just simply didn't work. And by didn't work means, well, it didn't get filled. So I'll have to show you the trade. But here's the daily chart. Let's talk about this. Daily chart, just a nice gap down. Nothing wild, nothing crazy, small percentage, but you can see on Friday, you had a little bit of a lower shadow. You gapped below the low of this candle, you gapped below the low of this candle, you're below all the moving averages. The trend is arguably a little bit of a downtrend recently anyway, and the overall market was flat. All right, the S&P was opening flat, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, everything was kind of opening down flat a little bit. So it was the overall thought process that, well, if they're flat, this thing continues lower, then, be bearish. So this gap was a nice gap on the daily chart, and this was one that we were looking at since this morning for a bearish trade. I got to give shout outs to Brad Reed on this one. Brad, the dad Reed, giving us insights that this was a good gap early this morning before market open. So again, I'm just kind of scroll up. And here it was, his watch list, 8:28, 2 minutes before market open. BK was the third. 5 minutes into market open, I set up 43.78 by 44.08. This was the setup that Brad had, getting in at 43.74 by 44.02. So just a little bit of a different entry overall than I did, a little bit of a different setup, but that's the way it should be. Everyone has a little bit of a different style. And check this out. So 5 minutes into market open, here's what we have on Bank of New York Mellon. So the low of this candle, you really have to see it on a 3 minute chart. So let me show this to you on a 3 minute time frame. So our setup was entry, stop loss. That was it. The high of this candle, which came in 6 or 7 minutes after market open, 43.78. Nailed it to the penny, but did not get filled at that price. Oh, savage when that happens. And it will happen ever so often. When you're good, you will hit your price to the penny, and it just won't quite fill, which is absolutely okay. Trade retested perfectly, gorgeous breakdown, secondary retest, failed that, and just a smoke show for the bears all day long. Really, really good gap. So congratulations, Brad, Sarah Quick, Albert, and a few others. Let me give some shout outs to two of my recent coaching students. These two individuals took me up on the, hey guys, I have tons of free time email that I sent out recently, and Felicia and Craig reached out and did some coaching over the holiday week. And let me talk about how they played Roku. Both of them just dominating this Roku chart whenever it decides to pull up. So Roku up 5% on the day. This was just a trend, momentum continuation play, whatever you want to call it. Very simple, very basic. Scott McKay got in bullish right here and said he sold sometime on Friday. So good job, Scott, locking in a nice win there. Pretty much what we had is, again, just a good continuation. The trend is bullish, and you're saying, hey, I wonder if it's going to continue bullish. I don't know. So what happens? Here's the 5 minute chart, and here's how both Felicia and Craig played it. 5 minute candle, my favorite candle, the high wave. Entry here, stop loss there, holla at your boy. All it does is win. Gorgeous, gorgeous move. And again, your stop is below all the moving averages on numerous time frames. Then you get this pennant pattern right here that just hung out and then broke bullish, and that trend continued nicely. Then you had some tweezer tops that broke out. So just a great trend all day to be in. So Felicia, Craig, great job on Roku. Buy the dips on this one, folks. For some reason, Roku is on fire. And it was a gorgeous bounce off the 50 EMA. I have zero position in Roku, and that's okay. Can't be in everything, but I can appreciate the sexiness of that trend right there. Another request for ORBC, Orbcom Incorporated, and a nice candle coming in, decent little upper shadow on this one. So we're going to have to go to the weekly chart, and the weekly chart does seem double bottomish, I have to agree. The interesting challenge is it did not close above the neckline. So keep an eye on this candle that's coming in right now, because you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white candles in a row on a weekly chart. If this thing trades sideways a little bit and it can pop out of here, I think you have a much better shot of going long down there on ORBC if it can break above the high of that candle. Shout outs to my good buddy, Greg the Gunner Gilbert, who played a tremendous continuation on ABBV. And again, by continuation, just said, hey, I think this trend's going to go lower, and it did. You had a retest gap over here, black candle gapping down, gap action, nice gap down, and here's the curve. There's the Mr. Squiggles. Here's the rollover. Look at this gap, oh, right below those wicks. And how did Greg play it? Oh, like a pro. Again, this is a guy who spent an entire week with me down here in Nashville. Check out this 5-minute chart on ABBV. Look at this strong bullish candle. Strong bull candle coming in to party, and then good volume. In fact, look at the volume on that candle and the prior candle. So this candle is the close of Friday, and this candle is the close, of open of today. So imagine all those bulls trapped when it breaks below that low. Just smoked. And Greg got out of his bearish trade for a decent gain. Nice little move lower. So Greg, high five on ABBV. I did not play that one. Wasn't even on my radar. But good move. Had another trader, newer trader, request FedEx because he's looking at getting in long-term and wants to kind of know where. So if you're looking at a long-term trade, one of the things you're going to start off with is the weekly chart. And what I like about FedEx on the weekly chart is you have these similar lows. I really do like that. So when I say similar lows, right, you have support here and support here. The low of this candle is 150.94. The low of this candle, 150.68. So that means anyone who had a stop loss low of this candle has gotten stopped out. And that's a really good pocket of liquidity for FedEx to bounce off of. You threw in a really classic lower shadow last week after good bullish volume. So my thought on FedEx, if you're looking at tipping toeing into this one longer term, you could get in above the high of this candle that's forming right now, with a stop loss down here or a trigger for protective puts. But I would agree, FedEx is at a long-term buy low, sell high location. Here is the 200 simple moving average on a weekly chart. We're massively below it. But if you go to a monthly time frame, monthly chart is just bouncing off of the 100, and you're getting an inside month so far for the month of July. So yes, keep your eyes on FedEx down here because FedEx, I've heard, still delivers packages and makes money. Buy the dip, longer term on this one, it looks beautiful. So that's FedEx, and I had a lot of traders request overstock.com. So this is the weekly chart on Overstock. Sorry, monthly chart, apologize. Big bullish volume that came in June. Engulfing bullish candle. Nice little move. And this thing is up 13% today. Here's the weekly chart. Tons of volume coming in on Overstock. I mean, really, the big warning signal is June 17th, and then huge volume coming in on June 24th. So you got to know what's up. I mean, that's a great spot to start looking at Overstock. Again, this candle all starting from the bottom. Now we're here, June 21st, one white soldier candle with exceptional volume. That's the spots we're looking for along on Overstock. So if you played it, congratulations. It's not very expensive. So we're about to come in contact with the 200 simple moving average on Overstock. Buy the dip. Volume looks good. Volume is coming in on this one, and it is there a large probability that Overstock has some higher lows ahead of it, especially on the shorter term time frame, because it is going to be a nice little move. So kind of excited about that. Last but not least, here's Nike. This is the trade for those in the weekly options newsletter. And the weekly options newsletter on Nike, we got triggered into some August $85 calls back on the 3rd of July. Only been in this trade 3 days, and we're already up 2 Rs on it exactly right now. So tomorrow, hoping that we can hit our 485 target on Nike on those calls. The high of those options today was 465. I mean, granted, I think it should be even more because the stock closed at 88.48 when we have an 85 call option. So it's it's a little chintzy, market maker. $3.48 of intrinsic value. And I'm only getting $1.20 worth of time value, even though Nike has a month and some change before expiration. But anyway, hoping we can hit our target tomorrow on Nike. That'd be a really solid win if we can get that, and I'd be pretty pumped about it as well. By the way, I don't know if you noticed this while I was talking, but what David and I are doing is he just happens to be a really big personality online. You might not have ever heard of him before, and that's okay. He has a very very specific niche that he focuses on. But one of the things that he wanted to do was come down and just record everything that we're doing, talking about, and discussing over the next 4 days, so we can eventually make that available for other people. So if they don't have the opportunity to come to Nashville, they can still expect and get an idea of what it's like to train with me in Nashville for over 4 days. It's intense. Trust me on that one. A lot of deep diving, a lot of physical and mental work, but we're recording everything, and hopefully at some point in the next few months make that available for other people. So just something you can keep in mind and think about. Anyway, other than that, folks, I'll be hopping into the afternoon swing trading room in 45 minutes. David and myself are about to go on a nice little walk, do some chatting, talk about what we're going to look at tomorrow, get some plans together, and crush it once again. I forgot to share with you what I traded today, and I think everyone will be quite happy with me today. I played Tesla. This is the only day trade that we took today, and won very small, 87 whole dollars. Didn't lose, so that's good. But here is the way we played Tesla. We saw the trade come down, come up, come down, made a new low by pennies. You can see that new low right there. Some volume came in, little pennant pattern, and it broke higher. So I said, okay, I would like to buy the dip and in hopes that it starts to bounce. So I had an entry here and a stop loss way down here. And it did. So trade up, made a new high, rotated down, and I was losing nicely for a little bit. This candle came in, and when that candle came in, we did an add and reduce. So entry here, stop loss here, and we did an add and reduce on that trade, which helped overall kind of drastically because I was buying more shares, increasing my stop so that I would lose less than a full R on the trade, and ended up exiting that trade right here after it just took more or less forever. We got triggered in at this candle, 9:25, 10:50. So almost 2 hours. The trade wasn't the antithesis of working out perfectly. So it took a $87 win on the day, enough for dinner tonight, hopefully. But overall, the goal is lose small, lose small, lose small, or break even, or win small, or win big. There should be no such things as big losses ever, 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 ever. So small win on Tesla, taking the profits into tomorrow. We will see what happens tomorrow, find it out from there. Other than that, folks from around the world, thanks so much for tuning in. You rock. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.